Guys, welcome back to another video. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Lots of stuff happened yesterday in terms of Xbox, Activision, Blizzard announcements for Game Pass, and everyone's favorite Lulu Chang-Meservey calling out another journalist for, I guess, blatantly lying in their article. And this time it is a journalist from Polygon. So, I mean, Polygon, not too surprising that they don't care about anything when it comes to actually reporting facts and stuff like that. But let's get into it here first with this tweet from Stephen Totillo. So it says here, new, the FTC's lawyers are dissatisfied with the documents Microsoft has or hasn't disclosed in the lead up to their trial over the Activision deal. So we know that Microsoft subpoenaed PlayStation with the FTC, and PlayStation was pushing it off, trying to get the dates extended, and they got a bunch of extensions. And then finally, the FTC ruled that they have to provide documents, at least for parts of the subpoena, most of it that they got ruled against in terms of them trying to squash the actual subpoena. They have to provide pretty much all of the important stuff, like their third-party deals, their exclusivity deals from 2019 until present. So a lot of interesting information could come out of the FTC trial if it gets all the way there, if those documents do become public. But apparently, and it's not just Sony that they are unsatisfied with the documents that they have received so far from, is also Microsoft, based off of a document that was filed and became public yesterday, or 2 days ago, actually. And they say here they want more on Microsoft's ZeniMax exclusivity plans, more about Microsoft's next generation gaming ecosystem, which, man, that would be super cool to get that information. I know we're still only 2023, and people are saying that this generation could last to 2027 or 2028, but hey, we know that they start working on the next generation right as the generation releases. So the next gen, they usually call it that for the first couple of years when the new consoles come out, like when the Series X and the PS5 come out, people were still calling it next gen, I would say, all the way up until last year. And now we've kind of moved away from that. It is current gen. It's been about going on 3 years here that these consoles have been out, and the Xbox One, the PS4 are a thing of the distant past. But as soon as the Series X and the PS5 were released, these companies are already thinking forward to the generation after this one. So maybe if these documents do come out, we'll see some more information as what Xbox is kind of expecting to do once the Series X and the Series S generation is over. Here are the actual documents, and it says Rep 3 requests documents related to crossplay, features that enable gamers to play games together across different companies and products. For example, crossplay enables gamers playing Call of Duty on Microsoft Xbox to play with gamers playing Call of Duty on Sony PlayStation. Microsoft made a similar argument when it acquired ZeniMax, but subsequently decided to take newly acquired ZeniMax titles exclusive. In response to this RFP, Microsoft asserted that the second request productions covered this request, but took no steps to confirm. In fact, the second request did not include a specification related to crossplay. Microsoft effectively conceded the relevance of this topic when it requested documents relating to crossplay from a third party in this litigation. And Microsoft's contradictory position is that it can seek relevant documents on this topic from a third party while avoiding similar discovery from its own files. So they want to see their plans and documents in terms of the whole Bethesda thing, which is just crazy to me when there's still arguments against Microsoft and Xbox that they had said that they were going to not have exclusive content from the Bethesda deal, which they absolutely did. And even during the European Commission, it was revealed that they did not officially make any claims that ZeniMax and Bethesda games were going to be multi-platform, or at least all of them were going to be multi-platform. They're still thinking that Microsoft made arguments and assertions that games from Bethesda and ZeniMax were all going to be multi-platform, which we know that is not the case now. Games like Starfield, games like Elder Scrolls, games like Redfall are all going to be Xbox ecosystem exclusive games. So they want to see their documentation on that. And then we have here, it says requests for all documents related to exclusivity of content Microsoft acquired from ZeniMax and exclusivity of content Microsoft proposes to acquire from Activision. In addition to post-complaint documents, Microsoft refuses to produce. Complaint Counsel does not have a complete set of relevant documents from the time period covered by the investigation. Then there's some redacted stuff. It says Microsoft has not produced the document. Complaint Counsel has proposed search terms aimed at identifying this and other relevant documents, including by using specific titles that Microsoft has made exclusive or has considered making exclusive. Microsoft has refused any approach that would require it to produce new responsive documents. And that is the second section there as to what they are looking for. They want to see the specifications of exclusivity that Microsoft is planning on doing with Activision, as well as what their plans were with the ZeniMax and Bethesda stuff, which we already know what the plans are for that. So we'll see if that makes any difference. And maybe the FTC is going to use that to try and go ahead and block the deal, which, again, if you're sitting looking at this, it's like Microsoft, if this deal does go through, the reality of the situation is they're going to be able to choose what they want to do with all of the IPs that they get with this deal. Now, we know that they are licensing off Call of Duty to pretty much everybody. And they're also saying Activision catalog games means that they could be bringing more Activision games to all of the multiple platforms that are there and all of the streaming services that are out there. Steven Turtle continues on here and says, here's where the FTC asks for more on their next-gen plans, which could be this generation for all we know. Not sure how the FTC defines next-gen. Are they kind of people who put the Wii U and the Switch in the same generation? And TAR equals technology assisted review. And this is the actual request. Request documents related to, and there's a bunch of redacted stuff here because obviously they don't want to reveal to the public what these next generation things are. The codename for Microsoft's next generation gaming ecosystem. So the codename is already out there. It's a part of Microsoft's forward-looking strategy for its console, subscription, and cloud gaming business, all markets in which complaint cancel alleges harm. After the second request was issued, and after Microsoft's TAR had been trained to identify responsive documents, Complaint Counsel proposed search terms that would identify documents responsive to this RFP that would have not been produced and identified the file names of multiple documents referenced in the production set that were not identified by the TAR and were not produced in response to the second request. Microsoft refused any approach that would require it to produce new responsive documents. So they obviously don't want to show that. They probably don't want the information about their next generation stuff getting out there to their competitors, which of course they don't want that. And PlayStation doesn't want the same thing either if that's information that potentially Microsoft will be looking for, because it could compromise their competitive advantage that they think that they may have going forward into the next gen that they don't believe PlayStation would think of or PlayStation would consider making. You think about what happened with the Series X, S versus the PlayStation 5, things like backwards compatibility and all of those features, big competitive advantage that the Xbox consoles had. Things like quick resume, again, just a feature that not enough people talk about even to today. It is something that when you use quick resume on Xbox and then you go to the PS5, it's like you're playing a last generation console, because quick resume is something that just makes the quality of life of using the Xbox significantly better than using the PlayStation 5. And every time I have to go close off my PS5 game and then reload it, whereas Xbox, you're just kind of switching in, you're right back where you were with multiple games on the go. It's just such a better feature, and stuff like that maybe Xbox is developing that they don't want to give away any of that type of information so that PlayStation doesn't copy it. Finally, he says also the FTC wants Microsoft to cough up the actual details of their much-typed Nintendo and Nvidia 10-year deals, among others. They say that without offering full details, Microsoft shouldn't be permitted to use them as defense against the FTC's attempted merger block. And that would be super important, I think, to see, especially because PlayStation has come out and said that the deal is so bad that Microsoft didn't want the details out there. So you have to blame them as to why there hasn't been a deal made with Sony and with PlayStation. So lots of stuff here going on. It's not just Sony that isn't providing the documents. It's Microsoft as well that has some documents that the people that want to block this deal want to see. And we'll see if they actually provide that stuff in the future. So we'll see if more information comes out, more public documents get posted, and we will definitely take a look at that and potentially go through those documents themselves. But let's move over here to a nice announcement that I think a lot of people expected to happen around this time. And that is that Ghostwire Tokyo is coming over to Xbox and to Xbox Game Pass on April 12th. And what is nice about this release into Xbox Game Pass is that it is Ghostwire Tokyo Spiders, which is a brand new update to the game that is releasing on that date as well, that will be coming over to the Xbox Game Pass version. I believe there's like new game mode. Well, it says it here. There's new haunting areas, deeper combat, and a challenging new game mode. So if you've never played Ghostwire Tokyo, this is going to definitely be the best version to jump into. And if you have played it in the past, now you're going to get all these updates for free if you have Xbox Game Pass. I don't know about you, but I'm very much looking forward to Ghostwire Tokyo. It is Tango Gameworks. creators of Hi-Fi Rush. I know this game got pretty mediocre reviews when it came out, but I also saw a lot of people saying that they disagreed with the reviews and you need to give this game a chance. It is well worth your while. So I'm going to be playing Ghostwire Tokyo for sure. Excited to this game to drop on April 12th. Now we move over here to another piece of news that is kind of Activision Blizzard-esque. It's continuously showing that Xbox wants to bring over as many of their products to and games and all that stuff to access as many people as possible. Minecraft being another one, which is something I didn't know you couldn't access previously, but it is bringing Minecraft over to Chromebooks. And they're saying an early access version of Minecraft Bedrock Edition is coming to Chrome OS. Now, they go on here and say Microsoft is launching an early access version of Minecraft Bedrock Edition on Chrome OS today. This game will run on Chromebooks thanks to the Android support of Chrome OS, and Minecraft will include cross-device play with friends, the marketplace, and support for playing on Realm. So it's going to be the full version of the game, and you're going to be able to play with people across the different platforms that they're playing on. Mojang and Microsoft-owned developer Minecraft originally launched the Minecraft Education Edition on Chromebooks in 2020, but the special edition required a school license or an Office 365 education account. Interesting. I had no idea about that. So if you're playing Chromebook, you have to get into the Microsoft ecosystem to be able to actually access and play it. The early access version of Minecraft that's launched today is limited to Chromebooks that meet these minimum specifications. So there's some minimum specs there for whatever Chromebook that you are using. And here is a quote that talks about this release. Early access means that it is in the first stage. Only selected Chromebook devices that meet the minimum requirements will get the option to buy Minecraft. So you'll have to check the Google Play Store to see if Minecraft is available for you. This is the Mojang team talking about this. This isn't because we want to single out some of our players as special. We love you all equally. It's so we can test the game's performance before we make it available to more players. So there you go. It's coming to Chromebook. If you've been wondering if Minecraft would ever make its way over to the Chromebook itself, another version other than the education edition of this game, it is going to be available there. And again, this is all coming out where they're bringing more of their products, more of their games over to as many devices as possible as they're going through this Activision Blizzard acquisition, because they're really trying to signal to these regulators and to the market that, hey, we don't care about locking off our ecosystem and reducing access to our games. We want to provide access to as many people as possible with the majority of the stuff that we are putting out there. And I know people always like to go back and say, well, look at Starfield, look at Elder Scrolls, all that type of stuff. The thing is, it is a business decision, like they said, on a case-by-case basis that makes the most sense. Games like Minecraft, it would make no sense to take it off platforms. Games like Call of Duty, it makes no sense to take it off of platforms. There's already such a huge player base that was there before these games became a part of Xbox Game Studios. And they're ongoing games as a service. They're online. They're games that have the potential of people spending money all the time throughout the life cycle of the game itself. Games like Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, for a lot of people, it's going to be a pick up and play once. Like, they're going to go through it and they're going to be playing through it for as many hours as once means. It could be hundreds of hours. It could be 50 hours, who knows? But there isn't going to be continuous transactions in those games. It's going to be them going and exploring the worlds and building stuff and all that type of stuff. So that's why, from the business perspective, I think it makes complete sense why certain games are going to be locked to the Xbox ecosystem and other ones are going to be put out on as many devices as possible. They're really just following what they've said from the very beginning. So they aren't changing their tune on what they're doing. And that's continuing right now, it seems like, with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. And finally, to end off today's video, let's talk about Lulu Cheng Mesre, everyone's favorite CCO, the EVP of Corporate Affairs, the CCO at Activision Blizzard, who's called out so many people on Twitter. Journalists made fun of Sony with the meme, called out Jim Ryan, exposed him that basically all he cares about doing is blocking the deal. He doesn't want a Call of Duty deal. He just wants to make sure that the merger is blocked. And here we go again, calling out Oli Welsh, who is the senior editor of UK Polygon, formerly editor-in-chief of Eurogamer. And in his article, this is what he writes in terms of when she called out Jim Ryan for saying that he just wants to block the merger. He says, on Twitter, She quoted PlayStation chief Jim Ryan directly as saying, "I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger." Meserve said Ryan spoke these words at the February 21st meeting between interested parties in the deal and the EU antitrust regulator. This was both shocking and not at all shocking. It was shocking that Meserve was willing to break the gentleman's agreement to keep what was said at the meeting confidential. And it was shocking that if he was indeed quoted accurately, Ryan was willing to state his company's position so badly. And she highlights the part where he says that she broke the gentleman's agreement to not say what was happening at those confidential meetings. And here is her response. "Hi, Ollie Walsh. There was no such gentleman's agreement. He did not say it in a context where confidentiality was agreed. Could you please correct this? Please also feel free to check with me first in the future, not just for etiquette, but so that errors can be avoided." And I love what she does here because she calls him out. She's not mean about it. And she's just saying, "Hey, I'm here to, help you do your job better. Just check with me, and then we can discuss whether what you're posting is factual or not." And that's, what journalists are supposed to do. And she continues on here and says, "You're entitled to opinion and scrutinize, but with respect, it seems unwarranted and unduly ad hominem to declare that a woman you never gave a chance to comment looks like a bad guy for violating a gentleman's agreement that didn't exist. Thanks for your consideration." And, I completely agree with her because at the end of the day, this guy wasn't there. This guy wasn't in those meetings. He has no idea at the confidentiality of what was said and how it was said, what context was it said. Maybe it wasn't even in those meetings. Maybe they was just out in the halls. Who knows how this happened? You'd have to go to the sources and try to figure that out. That's what you're supposed to do as a journalist. And to say that she broke some sort of agreement and then posted this publicly is a claim that is just completely made up without any evidence to back it up, which is why people get really annoyed again when we talk about gaming journalists and game journalism. Most of them don't really do any journalism. They just kind of post whatever they think is correct without verifying the facts before posting it. And we have Lulu Chang Meserve here calling out another journalist, which we'll probably see a lot more of this as the deal goes on. But I'm going to leave the video there, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff, from the FTC looking for more documents from Microsoft, from Ghostwire Tokyo coming over to Game Pass, and the better edition here with DLC and all the new content, Minecraft coming over to Chromebooks, and Lulu Chang Meserve calling out Polygon. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.